we're going to be starting off at this Experience Cloud site. And to reiterate what George said earlier about licensing and costs, if you're using Salesforce CRM, you can build public sites without any additional licensing fees or agreements with Salesforce. Now, we'll give the caveat that it's kind of free like a puppy, right? It's still something that you have to build and maintain, but it is something that you can own and it's connected directly to your CRM. So we're looking at our public Experience Cloud site right now. And I'm going to show you two main functions that I think will hit pretty close to home. The first is that first application of applying for a home. So we have our button here, and I have an application started over here. And we have our form, just a smaller version, but a similar version of what's commonly seen for that initial interest form or getting that engagement started with an affiliate or with any affordable homeownership program. We see here we have Guy Fieri. I'm required to say that we are using Guy Fieri's name and some other fun names without their, not actually them, it's just the homage of them, right? But in this instance, we have Guy Fieri applying for a home. And he's filled all this stuff out. And we want to, at the start, go ahead and collect his ID and social security card because we know that this is vital to moving his application forward. And yeah, having it right at the start is going to make it easier. So I'm going to start by attaching his driver's license. Let's see here. And then I'm also going to attach, just say done, the social security card. So by doing this, we are taking out any kind of like middleware item of, submitting a form, having that document live somewhere, then move somewhere else, then get dropped somewhere else, and backlinks and all that stuff. We are taking in those files directly at the form, and then we're going to send them to SharePoint and actually make it a little bit cooler than that. So I'll show you once we submit this application. Thank you for your application. You're welcome. All right, so let's go over here, and I'm going to refresh our intake applications. So you see we have our current ones. Let's refresh it, and now we see Guy Fieri's intake application here. And we have all of his intake fields, but we also have these nifty SharePoint links to the right. And so this actually, when we submitted Guy's application, it in SharePoint created a parent folder that is for his entire application. And you'll notice that it's named like the application. We're able to update that name as the application travels. So once Guy is in the approved state, the SharePoint folder will also reflect that. But we know that we're going to be taking in a lot of different documents from our applicants. We're going to highlight on partnership hours today, but there's also all the financial information, pay stubs, things of that sort. We can create these subfolders automatically and kind of give places a place to live right from the start. So we submitted our application and we can see our driver's license. We can actually open it right up in Salesforce. Ah, great. Send us his driver's license. Perfect. Let's check out his social security card as well. Yep, that looks great. Cool. So, and if there's ever an issue here, if you say they submitted the wrong item, you can add new items to the SharePoint file structure directly from Salesforce. So you're not having to switch between platforms. To do that, you would just go to New, File, Upload, selecting your file. So I'm just going to select another one to upload here. I'm going to do another version of that. You can even rename it and then get to the record. And then that's going to do the same thing as submitting it through the form. It's attaching it to the record, it's sending it to SharePoint, and then saving it within that file structure. Perfect. All right. So let's switch over to partnership hours. So let's take a look at a placed applicant, or not placed, sorry, applied. And we're actually going to look at Bobby Flay today. So Bobby Flay was recently approved for a home and is working through his application process. And we need to collect his partnership hours. So it's pretty common that we would have agreements with the applicants to do community or education hours as part of their application. And this allows us to send Bobby a template email if you'd like, or really all sorts of ways you can do this, but provide Bobby with a specific link where he can submit his own partnership hours that are related to his application. And I can show you that here. There we go. So here's the email that gets sent. So it just lets them know, here's a friendly reminder to submit your partnership hours. And we're going to use that same kind of functionality of the application, but since Bobby has a special link, he can go here and see his hours that he's submitting for partnership. So it's pretty common. I've noticed that partnership hours are going to have some kind of element of, a signature is needed, some kind of, documentation that's saved. So this addresses that too. So he can go in and say for August, I did, let's just say 5 on these, all, right? We're going to upload our file. And so any of those signatures that we need to have are on deck. And we can also reference that document to make sure that these calculations are correct, that the right numbers were put in. So we're going to say submit, thank you. And I'm going to go back to Bobby's application and reload the page. And we can now see that he has submitted 1 partnership hour submission, a total of 15 hours, and we have that submission here. And we have that partnership hours folder, which we can click into there, or by going directly to partnership, we'll see that link pop up and be able to look at that document right away. And so, looks like there was a keying entry. So that's where we could go back and update that, that record to reflect the actual calculation. And say you wanted to have an approval process, it would be fairly easy to add an approval mechanism to this record that says, yep, we've reviewed this partnership hours entry, and we say that this is good to go. So to recap a little bit, we have this issue of we have lots of documents to manage because there's a lot of different things going on, right? It's a very encompassing program engagement. So we have a lot of documents that are needed for all the different applications and loans and things. So by introducing Share Connect, we're able to bring Salesforce CRM and SharePoint together in a really dynamic way. That's going to save a lot of time. It's going to get things put where they need to be right from the get-go and label them cleanly, so you're not going to worry about it. And then with the added use of the public experience site, we're able to bring that opportunity to submit record or to submit documents directly to the end user and then collect it automatically from there. Again, saving time so you're not having to download from email or scan in copies as they come in through in-person drop-offs. So yeah, that was my main demo there. I'll pass it back to you, George.